Hey friend, I'm glad you stopped by. Janet here of Affirmation Threads. This is Sponsor Stitch. We are still knitting every day, and thank you for tuning in and joining. If this is your first time, I'm glad you're here. This is all about crafting for a cause, charity knitting. We are hosting a fundraiser. We meaning me, myself, and I. Affirmation Threads is hosting a fundraiser and it's for the American Cancer Society. You can sponsor an item to be donated to a cancer patient going through chemo. That's the way I've structured my fundraiser. You donate to the fundraiser to the American Cancer Society directly, and in your donations, what I am doing is deciding to knit an item, knit or crochet, mostly knit, based on your donation, and I'm gifting that to my local hospital and they're sharing it with cancer patients going through chemo. I did the same thing last year and it was amazing, and I wanted to do the same thing this year as well. So you can sponsor a Stitch 2025, donate to the cause. You can sponsor a beanie, a headband, or a neck warmer. Hope grows stronger with every strand. Today we're knitting a cinched headband. So let's go in closer so you can see the project. Welcome to our live and welcome to the Knit-a-thon. This is daily knitting in support of the American Cancer Society. Today's project, we're using Big Twist. The color that we're using is, if you can see that, cosmetic pink. Cute. I think it's cute. Big Twist works really good in my Addi Express. That's the circular knitting machine we're using today. And since we're creating another headband slash ear warmer slash neck warmer, because it's versatile, we have to start with this buffer, which is called waste yarn or buffer yarn. And it just gives us the ability to see the stitches on the project and pick them up a lot easier. So I'm going to start with the waste yarn. The very first thing that we do on the circular knitting machine is create a foundation. So I'm just going to weave my yarn in front and behind every stitch while I turn the crank. This part takes focus, takes concentration. It's the foundation of it all. Once we're all the way around, I'm entering the yarn into my yarn holder, yarn feeder, and I'm going to reset the timer back to 0. Actually, I could have waited to reset the timer because on this right here, this is waste yarn, so we're not really counting the stitches for the waste yarn. I'm just going to knit 5 to 6 rows, and then we're going to go in with our main color. I think we can go around one more. Right now we're back at the beginning. That was 5 rows. So I'm going to take off the waste yarn and add our main color, which is cosmetic pink. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of a tail, not too much because we don't need very much. Now I'm going to reset the counter because this is where we want to count the stitches, because we're going to go to 96 rows for this project. I'm going to use my helper again on this project. When I say my helper, I'm going to use my drill here that will allow me to go a little bit faster and be a bit more efficient. First, I'm going to go to about 10 rows before I pull in the helper. If you are interested in donating, there's a QR code on the screen. You'll be able to scan that so that you can donate directly to the fundraiser. You can sponsor a beanie, or you can sponsor one of the projects that we're creating today. So we're now on row 10, past row 10. I'm going to use my drill so that we can be a bit more efficient. And I'll also give you some music to listen to. We are on row 96. So if you have lots of projects that you need to get done, or if you need to get it done in a quick time frame, I definitely recommend using this, well, not this particular one, but just an adjustable drill so that you can adjust the speed and how fast it will go, because you don't want to go in super hyper speed just to mess up your machine, but you want to be able to adjust it so that you can go faster or pretty consistent and get it done sooner than later if you're on a time frame. So this is the last row, and I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a tail here before we cut it. So I'm going to put that on the inside, and then I'm going to go into the other end of the project with waste yarn or our buffer. And we're going to do 5 to 6 more rows of the buffer yarn here. I'm really liking this cosmetic pink color. I think it looks really cool. Well, good morning, Kelly. Thank you for tuning in with us. Hopefully you're doing good today. Always good to see you pop in on the live. Have you created anything exciting lately? I love the color combinations that you put together. They're always really cute. So we are at the end of the waste yarn. So now we're just going to cast it off with the machine. And then I'm going to get the machine out of the way so that we can finish the project. Oh, Kelly, you said not yet. Welcome. Definitely understand. The brackets on the Addi Express are awesome because it keeps it in place. Since we had no color changes, we don't need to tie off any stitches on the inside. Just going to stretch it both ways before we pick up our stitches. So I'm putting the tail in to my left, folding it all down so that I can see the stitches. Using this crochet hook, I'm just using a size F, and I'm going to pick up the stitches here and seam it together. Going from top to bottom, I'm just doing slip stitches, picking up the each stitch and just sliding it underneath the stitch that's on the hook. We're going to do that on both sides. Also wanted to show you our updated project list and all of the sponsors that we have and the spaces that we still have available. So here's our calendar for the Sponsor a Stitch Knit-a-thon, and it shows you where we are today. We're working on this headband slash ear warmer today. Tomorrow we're going to be working on a beanie, sponsored by Sherry Walker. Thank you, Sherry, for your sponsor, and Pam Walker for your sponsor as well. We crocheted or actually knitted a beanie earlier in the week, sponsored by Pam. And as you can see, there's 2 weeks after this left in the month of November. So there's plenty of spaces for you to still sponsor an item or do a flat donation. As I said, your donation goes directly to the American Cancer Society, and it just allows me to create another project that I'm donating to my local hospital, and they're sharing them with cancer patients that are going through chemo. Just something to keep them cozy while they're going through their treatments and let them know that they're not forgotten about. So there's plenty of space for you to still donate. Picking up the last stitches on this end, trying to make sure that we don't pick up the waste yarn. And that we don't forget any stitches. Ending with the tail. Pulling that one all the way through. Now we can remove the waste yarn. This is my favorite part. One side down. We have our finished edge here. Now we're going to do the other side. And I'm folding it together so I can easily see the stitches going into the first stitch and then doing slip stitches from top to bottom. So underneath this first one, slipping it through, going down to the bottom underneath this one, slipping it through, and just alternating from top to bottom with slip stitches. Almost there. I actually like these two colors together. This lime slime green against this cosmetic pink. Uh, this one is kind of hidden. And now the tail. So, so now we remove the waste yarn on this side. This waste yarn starts with this cast on row. After we pull that cast on row out, then it comes apart pretty quickly. All right, and as it gets to the end, let's see, did we catch the waste yarn? I'm feeling some resistance, but it could be just a knot or fibers connecting. Let's see. Just fibers. So now we're at the end of this side. So this is all mended together. And now I'm going to fold both of the edges. Actually, when you get to this point, you have a couple of options. You have several options how you want to put it together. We're going to sew it together like this. But if you wanted to do like a folded neck warmer, you could fold it in half this way and then flip it over and have your two ends meet. And then you can have like a folded neck warmer this way. I've done that before. But this time we're just going to do the cinched or gathered headband slash ear warmer. I'm going to thread my darning needle so that I can sew the ends together. And we're just going to stitch through the edge. Going back and forth. Making sure to go through every layer. I like using the metal darning needle because it goes through a lot easier. Every time I use it, I appreciate it even more. And I'm going to go back through one more time. And once I get to the end, I'm just going to create a couple of knots. So that it doesn't come out. And then for the end of the project, I'm just going to weave it in between the layers. And then that tail is hidden. I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. Do a knot. And then weave it in between the layers. And cut it off. So now those tails are in between. Here's what we've stitched. Now once we turn it onto the other side, we are now cinched. How cool is that? Awesome. Just adjust it for foldability. And now we can add our tag. The tag snaps, but I'm going to reinforce that with my tool here. And we're all set. How cute. The last thing is adding the sponsor tag. And now we're finished. Awesome. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Oh, cute. Thank you for joining the live today. We created this cozy chemo headband slash ear warmer. It's versatile. And I say headband slash ear warmer because I have my little friend here. I'll just show you. We can use it as a headband. Just going to slide it on her head. So you can see it can be a headband. And then, of course, if you slide it down even more, it can be an ear warmer. But if you slide it down, it can also be a neck warmer. Very, very versatile. You have options. Thank you, Kelly. Kelly says, I love it. Thank you. I love it too. Once again, thank you for joining the live. If you're interested in sponsoring an item or a cancer patient going through chemo and donating directly to the American Cancer Society, you can scan the QR code that you see on the screen, or in the description here, you'll be able to find a link. If you're wanting to donate directly, you can do it that way as well. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Well, hi, Pam. I see Pamela has joined us. Thank you for tuning in. Awesome. Hopefully, you were able to see your video on the product that you sponsored. Thank you for your support. Very appreciated. Always, always. Great. We will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.